It's not morning for y'all, but whatever. So, I've been asked to show how I do references, and, well, I do references different than most people probably do. I rarely ever put the reference into my, into the app itself, but I'll do it just so y'all can see the reference. I'm gonna get rid of the excess stuff beside it. Okay, so, always, whenever I draw a character, start with the head. And then what I like to do is I like to figure out basically how everything is positioned. So, first of all, let's get the head shape. Whoa, the eraser's a little large. So there's the generic head shape. I'm going to tilt it a little bit because it's a little bit tilted on this one. Then you do the neck. And I typically adjust proportions based on my own art style, which I'll also get to like proportions and stuff at some point. That's a much larger topic to tackle than look at the funny anime guy, but I will definitely get to that at some point. And the next thing is going to be like the torso, which, as you can even see here, is divided into a little trapezoid hole. Trapezoid here, trapezoid there. And you've got the arm, which is technically divided into a bunch of different little shapes, but the most basic ones are that, and that. So what you're going to do is you're going to go here. Whenever I draw like most of my characters, they're more like 3 trapezoids. Just because of how I draw characters. So it's like that. That. And then that. But to make this more true to... Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, wait. Okay. It's this thing. We don't want. Duplicate and loop. There we go. Okay. So we will make this a bit larger to more fit the perspective here. So then we got that one coming down. So shoulder. One thing I am apparently very good at is just copying things. I don't recommend tracing. Tracing, while it can help you learn to like steady your pencil and stuff, it always, to me, like, it never taught me how I was supposed to draw it. It was more just, oh, I can trace the lines well. I highly recommend just like trying to eyeball it essentially. Like, turn this off for now. So like you can see him trying to like replicate what it looks like here, and like this is a bit off, so we'll erase that. Do that. That's a bit better. Hands are always really hard. I probably need to make a guide solely on hands, but that's work, and I don't want to do work. Just kidding. I mean, I will at some point. So that hand is definitely different than this one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you if your drawing doesn't look exactly like the reference, that's actually a good thing, because it's more unique, it's more yours. Now, I don't entirely like the way this is turning out, but I think part of that is just because of how I tilted the cup. Let's tilt it this way. That's a bit better. And I'm probably not going to make the ice cream or float thing as detailed because that's a lot of food. So I'm probably just going to do that and get some syrup. Cream. And push a little cherry on top. This is even bigger than that one, but sometimes bigger can be better for like cartoony anime styles. Because I mean, in actuality, like the one in the reference even is very large. I don't think you're gonna be getting an ice cream float like the size of your head. Maybe you would. I don't know. But another thing is whenever you're doing cups, this is not entirely for reference, but it's when you're doing cups, it, as you can see here, there's a gap between the outline of the cup and the contents. And I unwittingly made this into Kazumi, so they'll get to see me draw the thing I'm sure like half of my fan base is about. So, yay. A lot of it just comes down to seeing the reference and like breaking it up into little pieces. I always go section by section. I'll usually start with either the head or like if the hand is like the most important thing, like that one Maverick drawing I did of him like pointing a finger gun at the screen. I can maybe pull it up if I have it. Where are you, Maverick? My computer's doing this thing where it doesn't like load the thumbnails for like a solid like 2 minutes. So, whatever. I'm sure most of y'all know it, and if you don't, you can come to the Discord, and it's there. But, yeah, and I don't ever try to, like, completely copy a reference. There will always be something I do that's different, which, like, for example, is the entire ice cream sundae here, and I'm also going to do this hand pose a little bit differently. And one can argue that it's not as good as the reference, and typically my drawings aren't as good as the references. But using references helps me improve, and so I like doing it. That arm was too long. This arm is probably too short. That's fine. And then the lasso tool is your best friend. I think this is a little bad. So weird, what, Drew? Make it smaller. And then after that, finish the face up. But yeah, you can already see, like, the pose isn't the exact same. It's very similar, but it is not completely copied. I'll also put a link to this person's Twitter, which I think is where I got this one. I recommend following them. They are very good at what they do, and they often draw just like this mannequin type thing, which makes like pose referencing a lot easier. The only problem I have with Pinterest is most of the people on there you can't really credit because it's all just like people spieling stuff, or it's AI. But luckily, this person has a TikTok and a Twitter that I will try to remember to link in the description. If I don't, someone yell at me in the comments, and I will take care of that. And then, of course, go ahead and add the folds, because we don't want naked characters, because then YouTube will scream at me and ban me for life. And I prefer not being banned from YouTube. But yeah, that's how I use pose references. There'll be more examples of this in the future, but for now, this is what we've got, and thank you guys for watching. All that jazz, like, comment, subscribe, and bye-bye!